Have you ever tried to explain something to people, something that you think is very important, and they just don't get it? I'm sure most of you have been through this experience many times, where there's something that you have realized, and you've tried to share it with people who you consider to be intelligent, and you show them the evidence and you say, look, can you see that something is not right here? And they just get that glazed look in their face, don't they? Their eyes glaze over. And you might realize that you are potentially talking to a creature that isn't all there. I have had this experience. I know that many of you have as well. I suspect that by the end of this video, we're going to go through this again, because some of you who are watching this simply won't get it, and that's okay. But even if only 10% of you have any idea what I'm talking about and can see the importance of this and leave your comments in the comment section below, that will mean a lot to me. And it'll be worth the time it takes me to make this video. So I've got a lot of tabs on my browser ready to show you this stuff. Some of it you have seen or heard before, some of it you haven't. And by the end of this presentation, which I'm uploading to YouTube, and if it goes for more than 20 minutes, I'll upload the audio to Podbean as well. Let's see what happens. By the end of this, I am praying to Kek that I'm going to get back some intelligent, thoughtful responses. Because I don't want to believe that I'm all alone in this world. I don't want to believe that, unless I have to. I don't want to believe it. So you guys are going to help me. Some of you are going to help me anyway, to believe for a little bit longer that there is intelligent life out there. So on the screen, we see a shot from the film Falling Down, 1993. We see a sign that says Corona. The main character, played by Michael Douglas, is holding a bat. He accuses the store owner of being Chinese. You might recall that a few years ago we were told that some guy ate a bat in China, and that led to the coronavirus pandemic. You might recall all of this. So some guy ate a bat, that led to Corona. That guy was in China. Now in this film, it turns out that the store owner is not Chinese. He says, I'm not Chinese, I'm Korean. And the Michael Douglas character is like, I don't care, I'm going to smash the place up anyway. Now you might be thinking, JLB, who cares? And that's a reasonable thing to be asking yourself. As we go through this presentation, you're going to see that there is a remarkable number of so-called coincidences here. And I don't think it's all a coincidence, I don't think that explanation is going to wash anymore. But we've got a problem, because a lot of so-called awake people, they've got an explanation that is just as stupid, which is, it's all scripted, it's more scripted. And what I'm asking is, what the hell are you talking about? So bear with me folks, we're going to come back and talk about this and so much more. By the way, I did publish the most recent Bonversation, which is available right now. There'll be a link in the comment section below. I have now published 10 Bonversations so far this year. 10 of them. All available publicly right now on a whole range of topics. The most recent Bonversation, I was talking to a lovely couple from Olympia in the United States, in the northwest of the United States, and they're concerned about this thing called communitarianism, which they believe is an explanation as to why it doesn't matter whether the blue team or the red team is in office. Everything seems to be going in the same direction. More taxes, more laws, more brainwashing of the masses, more of a hive mind. They believe they've worked out why that's happening. So we speak about that and so much more. Link to that in the info box below. Now let's get back on with this. You might recall that on March 11 of 2020, Dr. Tedros said, and this is on 3/11 of 2020 folks, this is what Dr. Tedros said.
We have therefore made the assessment that COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
Characterized as a pandemic. That was on 3/11 of 2020. Now, in 1993, on the 26th of February, there was a bombing of the World Trade Center. Let's just play a short section from this video following the 1993 World Trade Center bombings. This is a news story from Eyewitness News, ABC 7, New York. Here's just a short clip from this.
More than 7 hours after the rescue and evacuation effort began, emergency workers were worried some people might still be trapped in the uppermost floors of the 110-story Twin Towers. People who by now would be scared.
If there's somebody trapped out there, what must they be going through right now?
Panic, a feeling of total isolation, the forgottenness.
Total isolation. Who can relate to that feeling?
The world has just forgotten them and they're all on their own.
All afternoon, they'd climbed the stairs going floor to floor. Early on, it was a slow process, trying to get thousands of people out through smoke and darkness.
Okay, so you guys get the idea now. That was on February 26, 1993, about 8 years before the bigger event that took place at the same World Trade Center. So here it is, the Wikipedia page. We'll just go through this very quickly. 1993 World Trade Center bombing. A terrorist attack on February 26, 1993 when a van bomb detonated. Blah, blah, blah. So you get the idea. Now, we looked earlier at that shot from the film Falling Down. Now, that film was released, let's zoom in here, on February 26, 1993. Yes, the same day as the World Trade Center bombings. It had a running time of 113 minutes. 113 minutes. Now, consider this film, consider the title, Falling Down. This was released on the same day as the World Trade Center bombings. And in the poster artwork, we see behind the main character a bunch of buildings. Now in the film, this film is set in Los Angeles, not in New York. So that skyline is not the New York skyline, to be fair. But we do see buildings right behind the main character in the poster artwork for Falling Down, released on the very same day as the World Trade Center bombings, 1993. And so far, I don't think I've told you anything that you haven't heard before, or that you haven't seen before. Some of you, this might be new to you, but a lot of you, we haven't got to the new stuff yet. But it's important we go through this. It'll all make sense in just a moment. Now, this is the Millennium Downtown New York Hotel. It is shaped it looks just like the Black Monolith. It sits at 55 Church Street, and it was standing there right across from the World Trade Center on the day of the attacks, the so-called attacks in 2001. This Wikipedia page says, and I'll read this for you, the Millennium Downtown New York is a hotel in Lower Manhattan, New York City, located at the southeast corner of Fulton and Church. The hotel is adjacent, blah, blah, blah. The building is 55 stories tall. Okay, that's great. So we can see here that it looks just like a giant black monolith. And again, this was sitting right across from the World Trade Center. In fact, it was supposedly damaged in those attacks in 2001. Why is this important? Because if you go to their website and you look at their phone number, you'll see that their phone number is 212-693-2001. Now the 2001, that's interesting because that was the year of the major attacks that we all know about. Let's consider the other digits, 212693. Okay, so we've already established that the World Trade Center bombings and the film Falling Down both occurred, or the film was released on the day of the attacks, which occurred on the 26th of February 93. So in other words, 22693. So we can see that in the phone number for the building, it looks just like a black monolith sitting across from the World Trade Center area, the two massive towers, the whole complex. There was supposedly 7 buildings, I think was the story, something like that. This was sitting across from all of that on September 11, 2001. And in the phone number, we see a 2001 and we see a 22693. What are the odds of this? Let's carry on. Now, I've mentioned the Black Monolith a couple of times. If you've seen the film 2001, A Space Odyssey, which came out 33 years before the September 11 attacks, you will know that there is this motif, this theme, almost like a character, this black monolith. And it appears to be that when the monkeys touch the monolith, that is when they develop technology. And we see the same black monolith throughout the film, including towards the end, when this Bowman character is in his final moments, it would seem. Now, there was a black monolith, you've probably heard of this one. It's called the Seattle monolith. Now, according to Wikipedia, on New Year's Day 2001, a replica of the monolith from 2001: A Space Odyssey appeared on Kite Hill in Seattle's Magnuson Park. The Seattle monolith was a guerrilla art installation by a group of Seattle artists calling themselves Some People. So this black monolith, this artistic piece, was somehow by somebody put together and put in place in Seattle on New Year's Day 2001. That is about 9 months prior to the 2001 attacks. Now, why is Seattle significant, you might be wondering? Let's play a short clip from a Netflix show or some kind of streaming show. I guess, I don't really watch much TV, folks. I never watched Colony, apart from this episode. This is Season 3, Episode 11. This came out a few years ago. It came out prior to 2020. Here is the trailer for Season 3, Episode 11.
There's a lot of talented people in this colony. Put them together, we could do some real damage.
A war is coming, and our planet is going to be the battlefield. Seattle is going to be ground zero for the reboot of civilization.
Seattle is going to be the ground zero for the reboot of civilization. This is Season 3, Episode 11 of this TV show or this Netflix show, what the hell it is. It's called Colony. Season 3, Episode 11. Seattle is going to be ground zero for the reboot of civilization. And this particular episode came out around July of 2018. Okay, so a couple of years before 2020. Now, it turns out that according to the official story, the first case of corona in the United States was reported, diagnosed, whatever you want to call it, on January 19, that's a 119, near Seattle, in a place called Snohomish County. According to my Googles, it says this: halfway across the world from China, on January 19, a man who had returned home to Snohomish County, Washington, near Seattle, after traveling to Wuhan, checked into an urgent care clinic after seeing reports about the outbreak. Which is to say that the ground zero for the outbreak of the coronavirus in the United States occurred in or near Seattle. What are the odds of this? Take note of the fact that this is, according to my Googles, January 19, 119 of 2020. Now, I'm not sure how many of you are aware of this, but if you follow my podcast, and again, I upload a lot of these podcasts to Podbean, they're available publicly, and I'll put links to those in the comment section below. If you follow my work, you might be aware that if you were to go to the days calculator, days between two dates, between March 11 of 2020, when this whole thing was characterized as a pandemic, to the 8th of September 2022, it works out to be 911 days. But why is the 8th of September 2022 so important? That is the day that, according to the official story, the Queen of England passed away. Now consider, what does the Queen wear on her head? She wears a crown, as it were. So we've got from the 3/11/2020 to the reported passing of the Queen of England, we have a period of 911 days. Remember how I started off this video by saying, have you had that experience where you've tried to explain something to somebody and they get that strange look on their face? Like, oh my God, this guy's crazy. I know a lot of you have that feeling about me right now. But let's run through this very quickly, what I've just shown you. In the film of Falling Down, released on the same day as the World Trade Center bombings, and that date, the 26th of February 1993, appears to be encoded within the phone number of the Black Monolith, which was right across from the World Trade Center, for both of those events, mind you. It wasn't just there for the 2001 event. That building was already there for the 1993 event. So it was there, standing across from both events. In that film, we see a bat right in front of the Corona sign in a store that the protagonist is accusing the store owner of being Chinese. Recall where this supposed bat Corona thing came from. I showed you how the 3/11 date, 2020, is when this was categorized as a pandemic. I showed you some footage from the 1993 supposed bombings of the World Trade Center. You know, this thing that occurred on February 26, 1993. We went through that. I showed you how the poster artwork for Falling Down, released on the same day as the bombings. Falling Down shows the buildings in the background falling down. Goodness gracious me. I showed you this Millennium Hilton. Looks just like a Black Monolith. Phone number 212-693-2001. Goodness gracious me, the Black Monolith concept that we see in 2001: A Space Odyssey. At the beginning and at the end and in the middle of the film. By the way, I didn't even mention how in the film, the cover story that they have for this technology that they've found, this Black Monolith, is that there is an outbreak of a virus. That's the cover story. I didn't even talk about that, but if you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about. Anyhow, we see the Black Monolith. We see that there was a supposed Black Monolith art installation in Seattle on New Year's Day 2001. I showed you how in the TV show, the Netflix show Colony, Season 3, Episode 11, we're told that Seattle is going to be ground zero for the reboot of civilization. Seattle being the place where the first case of coronavirus was supposedly reported or found in the United States on January 19, that's a 119, and that there was 911 days between 3/11/2020 and the supposed passing of the Queen. I want you to tell me in the comment section below, what do you make of all of this? And I'm hoping there won't be too many people who come back to me with, it's all coincidence, Job. It's just coincidence. I don't want to hear that. If it is your honest opinion, you're free to share that in the comments. I won't delete your comment. But I'm hoping that if you're that foolish, then your attention span's not so good and you already tuned out of this video 10 minutes ago. I also don't want to hear, it's all scripted, JLB. Don't you know? We figured it out. Us truthers and awake people, we figured it out. It's all scripted, case closed. What the hell does that even mean? When you say that it's all scripted, what the hell are you talking about? What does that mean? Please, explain it. I'm a very open-minded guy, folks. Explain it to me. Now, you might be wondering, what's my opinion? I'm going to link in the show notes below to some more free content that I've taken a lot of time to put together for you, for the listeners, for the viewers all around the world here at JohnLeBon.com and the John LeBon YouTube and Podbean channels and accounts and what have you. The JLB 311 Hoaxiversary Roundtable. If you haven't already checked that out, I recommend that you do. And also, I put these questions and so many more to some intelligent, thoughtful people over at fakeologist.com. And we discussed all of these matters, and I wanted them to tell me, how do you explain all of this stuff? And then I took that conversation, and then I cleaned up the audio a little bit, and I re-uploaded it also to my Podbean account. A link to this chat, this 3-hour chat, is available in the comments section below. Finally, if you're thinking, JLB, I've already heard all your podcasts, I've seen your videos on YouTube, I still don't get where you're coming from, that's fair enough. I have put together a 4-part video series available in both video and audio format, 5 hours so far. It's a series, it's called Falling Down the Rabbit Hole, but it is only available to members of JohnLeBon.com. That is the people who support what I do. The people who are like, you know what, JLB's been doing this for 8 or 9 years. He's put out a heap of content. I might support the guy and check out what else he's got at his website. This is for those people. I appreciate that a lot of people can't afford 70 US cents per day billed in 1 yearly installment. That's a lot of money for a lot of people. I get it. That's one of the reasons why I release so much free content. Speaking of which, as I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, I've now published 10 free conversations on a range of topics. This is material that takes me a long time to plan, then I record it, then I edit it, and I publish it for free. So I put out a ton of free content, and I also put out a ton of content at JohnLeBon.com for the people who support what I do. So I recommend you go and check out those links in the comments section below. Tons of free content and tons of JLB content as well. And please leave your comments in the comments section below. And for the love of Keck, don't come back to me with, "It's all coincidence, JLB. You're reading too far into it. You're just picking and choosing and like you're just seeing what you..." Don't come back to me with this, okay? I don't want to hear that. And also don't come back to me with, "JLB, we've already solved it. It's all scripted. Anything that doesn't make sense, we just say it's all scripted and that's case closed. We're very smart, you see. We've got it all figured out. It's all scripted." Don't come back to me with that, please. Do me a personal favor. Put some thought into your answer. Leave your comments in the comments section below. And what I might even do, if we get some good comments coming through, I might even do a live stream reading through those comments tomorrow or the next day. And I might even choose the best comment for a free membership to johnlebon.com, because like I said, 70 US cents per day billed in one yearly installment. That's a lot of money that some people can't afford. So maybe you can get free access to johnlebon.com by leaving a good comment in the comment section below. Before I go, I want to say a big thanks to the people who support me and what I do with johnlebon.com. I've been doing this for 10 years now, and I've gotten a lot out of the experience. And I know that some of you guys have enjoyed what I've been putting out as well, especially this year. The last 8 weeks have been epic in terms of content production, and I'm very happy with what I've done. But I couldn't do it without the support of people from all around the world at johnlebon.com and bombassations.com. So to those of you who do support independent research and content creation, my personal thank you. And to everybody else, I hope you enjoy all the free content that is getting published by me, your main man JLB, coming to you from beautiful Plovdiv, Bulgaria. I'm able to do this because there are other people who support what I do. So don't thank me, thank them. And leave those comments in the comment section below. Yeah, boy, shit, man. With regards to nobody died, nobody got hurt in these wars. Hey, who's cutting my class? Where's Larry Crown? Maybe he got the flu.